Yeah, I want to give a quick demonstration of this come along. It's a rope come along. Uses unlimited length of rope. Made in USA. It's made in USA. It's no junk, I guess. It's 1,500 pounds, but I actually have the wrong size rope in here. I'm waiting for the right size. It's supposed to take 1/2 inch 3-strand. I have 5/8 3-strand. I was kind of wondering if it was going to work in here, but it doesn't really work that well. It's a little too big. But just to give you a demonstration, like for instance, if you can focus there, you got unlimited length of rope. It just pulls through, feeds out the bottom. See that? And now it's slipping a little bit because it's a wrong size rope. But it won't slip with a 1/2 inch rope. Actually, as what happens is, I'll show you when I pull this rope out of here, because it's not, I was just curious because I knew it's not the right size. I'm waiting on the other size, but it won't slip because as it tightens up against itself. You probably could get away with this a little bit if you pulled it tighter. You had real attention on it, it might dig into here. But let me take the thing out of here for a second. It was actually pulling. I was surprised. I was wondering if the 5/8 was going to work, but it actually didn't. That's not designed for 5/8 though, like I said. But you know, I got 100 feet coming. You can use, see, that's where it grips, right in here. So it gets way down in that channel. That's why you use 1/2 inch, not 5/8. A 1/2 inch rope is rated for 6,500 pounds breaking strength polyester, and they got this expensive blue, I don't know, I got some other stuff that's for anchor towing and all this other kind of crap. 3-strand. It'll work with other rope besides 3-strand too, but it works best with 3-strand. 1/2 inch. I guess, you know, it's a good demonstration to show you 5/8 probably won't work. It's not designed for that. But with a what do you call it? A 6,500 pound breaking strength, and this being rated at 1,500 pounds, you're probably going to be okay with the freaking working load. I mean, the working load on a 6,500 tensile strength rope probably is, you know, it depends on, you know, you could probably get away with the freaking spec of this 1,500 pounds if you're careful, but the working load would be much less, probably like 1,000 pounds. But you know, it's made in the USA. It's not some shit. It's not some junk. But the big advantage is, you know, usually you only got a 6-foot pull, an 8-foot pull, even a single strand. When you're not using a double pulley on the come along, the double pulley, if you're using a single, you got half the power. They're usually rated for 2,000 pounds, and you might have up to like an 18 or even a 20-foot pull. With this, you got unlimited. Now, the one thing you got to factor in, say you're using 200 or 300 feet of rope, you got to factor in the weight of the rope too. The weight of the rope as it's hanging is not pulling the load. It's actually the rope too. It's actually it's more strain on the rope, but you're not actually pulling the load. You got to actually subtract that from what you're trying to pull. So if you get really long lengths, I mean, because you can, I mean, if you can get a 600, you can put a 600 spool of 1/2 inch poly rope on there. It's polyester, being it's more mildew, rot proof, sunlight, UV resistant. But you know, say for instance you're in a vehicle, or you got a tree you got to take down, or say, you know, you got a pole that's you know, 50 feet away, a telephone pole, and you're stuck on the side of the road. Well, a regular come along is going to suck unless you got to, you know, you keep moving it 6 feet at a time. This thing, you can pull it for the length of the rope. Plus, the other thing I like about this, if the rope breaks, it's a hell of a lot less dangerous than a cable or a chain breaking. It's not necessarily not dangerous, but it's a hell of a lot. I'd rather, you know, have this whip against me than a chain or a cable. I can tell you that right now. Plus, if you put a little rag on there to weight it down, maybe just a little bit, that would help slow it down. But it's a great tool, made in the USA. And I got the company. Let me show you what the hell it is. I got it personally because it's something I believe in. You know, I said, holy shit, I'm not, now I definitely am not putting no winch on a Jeep, because I don't really go four-wheeling hardly ever, and if I ever need it, that thing will do it. More, you know, that with the other one combined. Yeah, and that's the name, Maasdam. You know, it's a popular name, power pull. It's made in the USA, like I said, all made in the USA, not assembled in the USA. So, yeah, what's the price on that thing? I got mine, I think, for $52 delivered, and I had to get some rope on eBay for, I think delivered was like 30-something bucks for 100 feet of 3-strand poly, or so maybe it was like $92 total. But I think it's far more versatile than, and you know, the other thing is, say for instance, like if you have a frayed cable on your come along, hey man, if you got a frayed cable on that, it's so easy to change that rope out. The only thing is when you're starting it up, when you're getting it going, you got to get some tension on the rope to get it going. That's the only thing. But hey, you know, if you're not putting tension on it, what are you using it for? You're using it to pull something, right? So that's not an issue, right? Just remember that. But you know, at first I thought this was going to work with the 5/8, and I says, I wonder if it could actually work with 5/8, but not apparently. Not apparently. It's got to be a 1/2 inch. But you know, it's a pretty well built tool, and I'm actually going to put some gear oil, not on here, not here, but right in here, right on the springs. I'll probably spray it down with some industrial cosmoline too. I got the weather guard. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, as a little preventive maintenance, where the hell would you think it would rust? I mean, it's not going to rust really here, you know. It's not going to rust really much here. Now, I'm going to probably get a little bit on here anyway. This is cosmoline weather shield. But see this spring? That would rust, even though it's coated. Now, you don't want to get shit in here. I'll put some grease in here, some oil in there, but a little, anything that's steel or cadmium plated. Why would I do this? You think it's stupid, right? Yeah, right. Tell me. One day you leave something out in the weather, you forget about it. You wish you did this. This is the way this kid does this shit, man. That's why I got stuff from 8 million years ago that still works. So even though it's brand new, like I said, I'm putting it only on the steel, and put a little gear oil on this wheel right here, right there, and just put a dab of gear oil right here. Yeah, I do this when it's new, you know, and I'll put it away. But yeah, it should be alright. It should be alright. Probably just a hair on these wheels, not the where the rope goes. Weld up where the rope goes. Yeah, this cosmoline shit is some pretty good stuff, and I like to spray in some ways because it's lightweight enough. But it's designed to last maybe a year, even against exposed metal outside. And this ain't leaving that. I'm not leaving this outside, but hey, what did I use? 3 cents worth of cosmoline, a 1/2 cent worth of gear oil. That'll keep that thing even longer. So you know, and then what I'll do is I'll just put it in a trash bag liner, trash bag, so don't get rusty. And I got the rope on order, so this thing, I think I'm going to keep this one in my El Camino. This is going to be, that thing could get stuck. I was out in the desert sometimes, and that is actually why I got the posi back in there, because it was a posi from the factory, then it was an open end, and I had one wheel, and shit looked flat, man. I just kept digging in, man. I got motivated to put a posi in. It was out in the middle of nowhere, you know, on the road, but I was so far away from shit, it was like scary, man. So I put a posi, but having that would help a lot too.